Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So, Voldemort has always been known as the most powerful dark wizard to ever walk the earth. We know he learned his trade in Hogwarts after Albus Dumbledore picked him up at age 11 in the orphanage. But young Tom Riddle did have the use of his magic during his time in the orphanage, for several years actually. He was known for being somewhat of a bully to the other orphans, most likely because he knew how strong his powers made him. He could do things to hurt them, he could scare them. One area of discussion I'd like to talk about today is what exactly happened on the day that Tom and the children of the orphanage went on a field trip. All we know is that he entered a cave with two of the kids and they were never the same after coming out. I want to look into that and discuss it further. I'm going to give my take on what I believe exactly happened. So let's continue the video and find out. Guys, before we start, I'd like to talk about today's sponsor, Surfshark. This company have continued to sponsor me throughout these difficult times, so I'd be very appreciative if you kept watching and hear what I've got to say, as this product is really beneficial for you all. Surfshark offer you an incredibly powerful VPN to protect your internet privacy. In today's computer age, hackers are constantly trying to gain access to your bank account details, your social media passwords, and access to your personal information, amongst many other things. This can all be prevented when browsing under Surfshark's protection. Not only does it protect your privacy, it also offers you a lot more. Different countries have different viewing restrictions on what content can be viewed. Therefore, by logging into a VPN based in another country, you can gain access to that content that may be blocked in the country that you live in. For example, I've always used the Australia VPN, but it's recently come to my attention that you can gain access to the Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald movie on Netflix by using the Indian VPN, which is pretty cool. As I've mentioned, Surfshark have been sponsoring this channel for over a year, and they've given some great deals in the past, but this one is by far the best. If you join Surfshark today, you'll get 83% off, 3 extra months for free. You'll also be able to use Surfshark on as many devices as you like, there's no limits, and finally, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. Basically, if you're not happy, if you're not satisfied, then your money will be returned. It's a no-brainer, guys. So sign up to Surfshark right now by clicking the link in the description below. Welcome back, guys. So let's just take a look at Tom as an individual at this time in the orphanage before we actually get to the day of the field trip. I think it's important for us to understand the actual level of magic he was operating at, because he could do a few things, guys, let me tell you. He had good control, and it was all wandless magic too. He could talk to snakes. He could use magic to hurt the other children, whether they got on his nerves or not. He could move things with his mind, and over time, all of the other orphans began to fear him. They knew something was different about him. Tom, on the other hand, loved it. He loved the feeling of power. At one point, he didn't even need to use magic to get the things he wanted from the others. He'd just walk up and take whatever he wanted. The kids knew the consequences if they refused him. Even the head of the orphanage, Mrs. Cole, knew that there was something dark surrounding the boy.
Incidents with the other children, nasty things.
Sometime before Albus Dumbledore came to visit him and take him off to Hogwarts, the entire orphanage went on a field trip for the day somewhere outside of London, I'd suggest, possibly south of London as it's closer to the beach shore. After arriving, Tom noticed what appeared to be a cave. Now, there's no name for it or anything, it was just a cave, but it really caught his eye, like it was calling out to him. Unfortunately, it was inaccessible by boat and had many impeding obstacles by foot. That means it was only accessible by magical means. Now, we don't know how he got to the entrance, but his magical skill was advanced enough to get him there, and he brought 2 of the other orphans with him, Amy Benson and Dennis Bishop. Now, it's not known what exact relationship Tom had with the other 2, whether they followed him round because he could do cool things. Tom did love a following, we know that from his time in Hogwarts. So anyway, the 3 kids go into the cave, something awful happens, they all come out. Amy and Dennis are so horrified, so distraught, that they literally can't speak and they never reveal what they saw or what actually happened. That was it. Now J.K. Rowling said she wouldn't reveal what it was they saw, like with most things, and we're left to use our imagination, meaning that although our thoughts on the situation may not be correct, they aren't exactly incorrect. So everyone, I have this theory, and it's about the cave obviously. I want to discuss it at this point. Now, like every theory, I'm sure there's holes in it or someone can debunk it relatively easy, but in terms of simplicity, I asked myself the question, what could a boy of Tom's age actually show them in a cave to frighten them into silence? Like, he can't plant awful false images in their heads. He was strong, but nowhere near of that ability. He didn't even have a wand. He was drawn to that cave for a reason. I believe he was drawn to it because it was already full of dark magic. He could sense it. Something had already been in that cave before Tom had ever gotten there. I don't think Voldemort created the Inferi within that cave. Hundreds of Inferi, I might add. I think they were already there, laying dormant, created by someone else long ago to be used by the right wizard to protect something of value or to be unleashed upon the world. Even Gellert Grindelwald couldn't manage to create Inferi, mistakenly believing that the Resurrection Stone would fix his failures. I mean, if you think of it, can you really imagine Voldemort going on a killing spree? Well, kind of, but killing hundreds of people within a close proximity of each other, then taking their bodies to a cave that can't be accessed by boat or foot. I think they were already there for centuries, and the dark magic surrounding them is what attracted Tom to the cave in the first place. The Inferi cannot leave the cave unless they're under the control of a wizard, because Inferi are just reanimated corpses with no individual thought. They're not actual real people. When a wizard releases them from his service, they return to the lake within the cave. Maybe young Tom took Amy and Dennis into the cave, not exactly knowing what they'd find, but he knew something was there. I think when Tom arrived, he disturbed the Inferi from the shore of the lake, not the center like Harry did. Because the Inferi were not under any control, they simply rose from the lake and came towards the shore. I don't think they intended to harm. They were coming towards the shore because they sensed Tom's magic. The sheer sight of hundreds of Inferi, dead reanimated corpses, in all different stages of decay, standing before 3 kids, well, you could imagine how terrifying it would be for them. Maybe Tom not so much because he was used to strange things occurring. It does seem like a fitting explanation though, in terms of what could have actually scared the kids to the point of being unable to reveal what they saw. Now, there are concerns obviously about how a young boy could access an inaccessible cave along with 2 other children, but J.K. Rowling's favourite thing to do was to leave things open in order for our imaginations to fill the void, and that's pretty much what my imagination came up with. With that being said, that's my video on what I think happened that day in the cave. Thanks again guys, I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate your support. Everyone, notifications of uploads are more important than ever. So please, if you haven't already, turn those notifications on to make sure you're notified the moment my video goes live. Making videos is what I love to do. It's my dream and my passion. However, it does cost time and money to produce this content. So if you have $1 to spare to support me on Patreon in exchange for some exclusive unseen content, then you can click the Patreon link below or at the end of this video. Please only support me if you can afford it. And make sure to follow me on Instagram at InstaDeanJ and on Twitter at PotterFolklore. Check out my other videos appearing on screen, and please make sure, most importantly, to hit that subscribe button. Thanks again everyone, and please have a great day.